Hey everyone, it's Matt again, along with the Goose. And today we're going to talk about Baramos, who's going to be coming up in the DQ3 event. So the question is, though, is he going to set your team off a fire? Or is he more of just a mid boss for really the important units that are coming later? Stay tuned and find out. All right, everyone. Baramos is a very powerful mage who is in the question marks, really, the boss team. And it is going to be another wave of boss units that we will be seeing from DQ3, which he will be the first one. What's a bit annoying for me is he has the best A unit summonable for you versus the other unit, Zoma, that will be coming later, who is actually by far the better unit. Uh, so, Baramos' first skill, Necrogon Wave, is very interesting because it's a 26 MP consumption that does physical damage within enemies within range and can confuse. Now, it is not a magic attack, but very interestingly, he is a very good attack as well. So he's a straight out damage unit who, taking a look at these skills, does use a lot of MP consumption. But if he runs out of magic, he can actually do some damage with his auto attacks as well, if need be. The second skill, Necro Inzun, which is basically Big Bang, um, is 137 MP. Is a range of 3 in a cross fashion and does 55 bang damage to enemies within range 4 times randomly. This is a interesting skill, but in all honesty, I'm not planning on, if I get Baramos, I will not be using this skill very often because compressed Inzun, the compressed bang, is a massive damage. 108 does a very large amount. We're talking somewhere on the 280-ish percent, 285% damage of bang to one enemy. This is his main skill, and as a unit, what you really are going to use him for is doing a very large amount of damage in one hit. So for weak, so units that are weak against bang, especially when you're doing the book trials, this Baramos is going to be the unit to get your 9999 damage easiest without having to require luck and or runaway magic. Its skill is, as I say, is incredibly powerful. Even on big bosses, it could do 500 damage without equipping the proper weapons and without a very large upgrade through books. So you could just imagine upgrading with the books and the books getting it to plus 10. It will be a massive damage. But he, just like a lot of other very powerful magic users, has a very limited MP pool to use his casting. Um, his leadership effect sounds really wonderful. Increases strength of spells in a 5x5 square, including Baramos, by 15%. But the big issue is, just like my intro, he's kind of a mid boss here because if you get Zoma, who will be coming out roughly a week and a half, 2 weeks after Baramos, it's the same leadership effect but by 20% instead of 15. So generally, he's only got this quote unquote powerful skill for about a week and a half before it's already eclipsed. So as a leader, he's not really top notch at all, and more of a look. I need someone to do a lot of bang damage quickly, so I could clear out this one or two enemies, so I don't have any problems. If you get a dupe of Baramos, his zap damage goes up, and his MP goes down, and that is actually pretty big for him. Once again, because compressed Ionzun is so powerful, getting that increase in zap damage really amplifies that effect. The second dupe gives you SAM resistance plus 25. Fourth gives you wind resistance 25, and or swoosh. And the third and fifth ones give you the plus 5 to compress Ionzun power. If you are looking for a bang user, this is going to be by far the best one. Easily outdamages Archdemon, but if you have Archdemon, it is an upgrade because, as I say, that compressed Ionzun is what's really going to give you that damage. But I'm going to probably lean a bit more on Archdemon, but I'm going to surprise you with, at least on my pulling, and I'm going to spend a lot of time kind of talking about that so people get at least an understanding. Now, Baramos' stats. His HP for a mage is huge at 802. But if you look at the defense of 231, he's kind of like a great troll where he has good HP but low defense, so he will take damage. But at least he has HP, so he's not going to be squishy. He's not nearly as squishy as Lionheart here. So there are some positives to this as well. His MP is good at 415. This is though with five dupes, so more than likely, unless if you pull super hard for him, which for 99.9% of you I do not recommend at all, you're only going to get at best 3 really powerful damages or spells casted, and maybe only 2 depending on what you use. So he is going to use a lot of his power very quickly, and it can be very frustrating because of that. His attack, though, for a mage is actually pretty high. It's actually higher than some attackers even at 328. His wisdom is very high at 350. There's only one unit that's within this time frame that's higher, and that's actually Zoma, and it's not even that much higher. So that's definitely not a knock against Baramos. But his agility is very low at 228. And as I say, his main skill up here is this compressed Ionzun, and it's a massive killer. But what you need to do is you need to plan to use it. He's not going to be attacking first, no matter what, unless if you have an agility rod that's got like, or agility claw that's got like 60, 70 agility to get him going to near the 300. He's not going to attack first. So you need to plan it out and go, all right, I need him to draw, and then I will blast him with compressed Ionzun. His preferred weapon is actually the Sage Staff, and it is a very good weapon for him. It gives him a wisdom of plus 22, so, and with the alchemy of getting wisdom, you could get his wisdom into the 400s pretty easily. It gives bang potency plus 2 right off there, and this is from the bang equipment quest, so you can, most people should at least be able to beat it by now, and you might even have a Sage Staff or have it fully alchemized. If you get some bang type spell potency, you can really start seeing his damage just scream off into the very high end. There's also wisdom and NP as well. All in all, though, this is Baramos just loves the Sage Staff, and you're probably only going to use Baramos unless if he's like the 1 or 2 units that you got, or you got him with the free tickets. You're going to use him when enemies are weak to bang, and at that point, I really don't like doing weakness type, but maybe even the bang type weakness might actually be a good skill for Baramos as well. Just for Baramos, though. His preferred learned skills, and there's going to be the last one's a bit of a shocker. Crackle and Swoosh, we're going to try to get him away from bang and make him a little bit more usable. Crackle is just AoE 24. Swoosh is the whoosh type or wind type spell damage to AoE. No surprises here. But for a mage, it actually might not be a bad idea to give him Blast Slash. And this is the 180 type potency bang type physical damage to one enemy. His attack is actually only 22 less than his wisdom, and this is at max stats. If you don't have a max stats, it gets even closer. It still allows you to use bang type damage. It gives it a physical in case the enemy is weak or strong against magic, which there will be at some point later in the future. But the main thing is, this will allow you to use Baramos to use a pretty powerful skill. It's 180%. It's not as high as Compressed Iron Sun. But because you still get 180%, it is literally 7 times less MP consumption than Compressed Iron Sun. So you can use this very often after, especially the first skill or second spell of Compressed Iron Sun, and at least allow Baramos to do very good consistent bang damage all the way through. So this is one of those skills where usually it's like you just check off the boxes and go, yeah, spell, 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 because he's a mage. But on this one, the bang type, and you could just then focus him on bang only. Also, people are like, man, what about doing the crackle and swoosh type physical damage to one enemy? That's actually not a bad idea either. So if you want to give him another elemental spell, like for me, crackle and swoosh have actually already been gobbled up by other people. So I don't have these spells available. I might still give him, and so there's really like 8 or 10 skills that you can teach Baramos to be useful. But I would suggest that these 3, and then the crackle physical type and swoosh physical type damage as well, those are the 5 that you should take a look at. And for me, if I get Baramos, I either will give him Blast Slash or I will actually give him Crackle Slash, and I'm still not sure which one I'm going to give, but with Swoosh, and there is going to be during this event, if you've already used up Swoosh, there will be another spell scroll that you can get as an item that you can give it to him as well, but I don't think I'm going to give it to Baramos. So at this point, I think I'm actually going to give him a physical type elemental damage for him as well, just to use his high attack. His pros. So with Bang, he delivers very powerful single hit strikes. And with as I say, with Compressed Einuzun, his damage for a single attack is pretty much unmatched. There's not really much else to say about him, but that is what he does. And it's very similar to DQ3. Very, very strong attack, but then he starts running out of gas. For a mage unit, he has very high HP, and he can absorb most hits. His defense isn't the greatest, but he's not going to be one of those. He's not an Emperor Slime that you go, oh no, they can hit him, I'm in trouble. He does very, very good job of actually being able to take a hit or two before being in deep trouble. So his survivability is really on point. He has a very high wisdom, and for a mage, he has an incredibly high attack. And as I say, what's kind of funny is his attack is above average for attack-based units. So even though he is a mage, and he has 2 mage skills, he does have a physical skill already in his kit. And you can actually, it's not a bad idea to add a second physical skill to him as well. His cons, holy cow, Batman. His MP just goes, and yeah, I know, Goose. I know you guys like to slurp, but Man, that MP goes by fast. Actually, a good friend of him is, believe it or not, Archdemon. Especially if you're doing a bang type attack. Archdemon's MP reduction of 10% might actually allow you to do one more big spell. Um, so there are kind of ways to get around this, but he doesn't have MP recovery, and even if he did, that MP recovery just isn't very strong. Um, so be very careful. He has Big Boom, but Big Boom takes a lot of MP, and he just doesn't have enough MP to continually cause massive damage. So you need to make sure that you use it when you need to. His defense, though, is still also pretty low, so he's still a little bit squishy, but I'm going to call this a nit for a mage. For a mage, he's still pretty tanky, but just don't use him as a tank. His agility, though, is also low, so he will not attack quickly. And this is kind of frustrating because he has such potentially high power. Sometimes you kind of want to go, yeah, I want to take this one out. But he might not be able to survive long enough if you place him in the incorrect position because of that agility being so slow. His leadership skills seem strong, but as I said, Zoma's is the exact same, but it's 20% instead of 15. So if you're excited by this leadership effect, unfortunately, unless if they change Zoma, which I don't think they will, it's actually not that great. It's going to be outclassed literally within a week and a half, 2 weeks after release. Will I pull? Kind of. I'm going to go light on the pulls. I'm going to use a little bit of tact points, but part of the reason I'm going to use tact points is that I will actually reach the cap fairly quickly, and I will need to burn some of the caps so that I can use the rest of it for Zoma. And I'm right now planning on 2 10 gem pulls, maybe 3. The main reason is I really want the question mark mastery for Zoma. And so if you're going very hard for Zoma, it is worth trying to go for Baramos just for the question mark mastery. As I said, it will give you enough to give Zoma a little bit more. And as I say, as a bang based unit, it is incredibly powerful. So it has power. It's not really usable in arena. It does have one powerful AoE skill, but it's slow and its weight is incredibly high. Now, if there's a arena time that has the weight that you can use 3 or 4 units, then you might be able to squeeze them in, but those are very rare and far in between. You're basically going to be using him for his elemental advantage and for the question mark mastery, but that's all I really see from a pull. For most people, I would call it a pass on gems. See what tickets you get. We should get 5 tickets from the event, plus at least 4 tickets from the dailies. So that's 9 tickets right there. So you have at least a chance of pulling him. And if you do get him, don't go, oh, I didn't want him. He is a good unit. I just don't see him, especially with Soma coming right after him, a unit that is a must-have, a unit that you should spend, especially if you're free to play, your resources on, unless if you're really desperate for bang damage. And even then, I'd rather just say wait till you pull an Archdemon. It's not as strong, but at some point you will get an Archdemon, and it serves the purpose. Not quite as good as Baramos, but I'm going to tell us he's the mid-boss of this event, and Zoma's just going to outclass him out of nowhere. And by out of nowhere, you guys should know if you're watching this video. So he's a little bit of a disappointment, but hopefully you'll get him for free. And for people who are really worth spending, money on for, you can go, I would try and just get the one. I don't think it's more worth more to get dupes to make him that much more powerful. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please give a like and also subscribe if you haven't. If you've got any questions, or if you go, look, Baramos is my guy and here's why, please leave comments down below as well. I hope you guys enjoy, and on my next video, a little foreshadowing here, Zoma's going to appear, and I'm going to show him why he is by far the superior unit out of this entire banner. Travelers, stay safe, enjoy, and I will see you next time. Bye!